Today's episode is sponsored to you by Kai's Cookies. Kyla's Cookies, if they're anything like her father's wonderful leadership, then they might be okay. Maybe. Probably not. I'll drink to that. Cheers.
Cheers to that.
Hello and welcome to InfoWhores. We're your hosts. I'm Nat.
I'm San.
And today we're talking about 2020's biggest conspiracy theory. Or I guess it's not a conspiracy theory anymore because it actually came true. Jab passports, everybody.
They all come true, don't they?
It looks that way. It looks that way. Birds aren't real? Wait, what? Okay, moving on. So for those of you who are unjabbed, like San and I, welcome to the world of being a second-class citizen. Woohoo! The wine is great. So some of you may know, September 1st, Ontario revealed their vaccine passport system for restaurants, gyms, and theaters, non-essential businesses.
Yeah.
Non-essential, according to our current Prime Minister and Doug Ford. Okay, so let's talk a little bit, though, about what a vaccine passport in Ontario means, because Doug Freudian slip, he flip-flopped on this, like Fauci, flip-flop Ford.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't even, it was like, 6 or 7 months ago when he said he would not be pushing for a vaccine passport because he didn't want a two-tiered society.
Yeah, that was as recently as he reiterated that as recently as a couple weeks ago. He said, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to create.
Yeah, so I want to know why he's doing it. Like, obviously, this is a huge coercion tactic. I mean, I read, I think on Narcity or BlogTO that since the announcement, appointments to get your vaccine have spiked.
Yeah.
So people are scared. They feel backed into a corner. They don't want to lose their jobs.
Yeah.
They want to go to a restaurant, Gen Eggs, hopefully. Wait, our favorite sponsor. But, we can't blame people for, I guess, caving at this point because that's a huge threat.
Yeah. I'm sure there were a lot of people who were on the fence about getting it and were really
holding
skeptical
out
and holding out.
Yeah.
And this is just
the last straw.
The final push. Yeah. The final straw. And they
Yeah.
can't handle the pressure. And I don't, it's tough. I mean, so many doctors and nurses and not that, they're quitting. I'm seeing online.
Yeah.
They're quitting.
And that's an interesting point, too, because if our hospitals have been so overwhelmed this past year and now they're just firing nurses or letting nurses just walk out, I mean, how full were the hospitals really?
Yeah, you can't be that in need for...
Yeah, if you're willing to let your frontline workers go.
Yeah.
It honestly makes no sense.
Yeah, and also that's the thanks that they get after, being the heroes of the pandemic.
Yeah. No,
they were banging pots for the nurses and social workers, too. They were banging pots when I was at work. And now even social workers, they have to get they're
getting vaxxed, and now they're just minimized to the title of anti-vaxxers. So thank you for your service, you stupid anti-vaxxer. Get out.
Yeah.
This is the world that we live in. But why are they pushing for this so much? For example, Theresa Tam, back in the day when vaccines hadn't even come out yet, said that to reach herd immunity, it needed to be 70% of the population in Canada need to be vaccinated. Mm-hmm. Now it's 100% of those eligible.
Yeah, well, according to some definitions, they changed it halfway through the pandemic, what herd immunity actually means. They're changing definitions of words and terms to suit their narrative.
Yeah. No, that's great. It's like being in university all over again, yet it's real life.
Yeah.
People... When this announcement was made, people were shocked by it. Mm-hmm. But I feel like we've been posturing ourselves for this for the last 2 years. We knew this was gonna happen. I'm a little surprised that people are shocked by this.
We're not shocked. We were hoping that it wouldn't get to this point.
Yeah.
We thought protests would do something. But no, it doesn't matter. Everything people have been doing and fighting against, it didn't matter.
It's all for naught.
Yeah.
I think what's really interesting too is to just know how the government has really been priming us these past 2 years. Because, it started with 2 weeks to slow the spread, 18 weeks to slow the spread, 18 weeks to stop the spread, masks to stop the spread. Mm-hmm. And now it's 40 jabs for life, Susan, or else you're toast.
Yeah. All these people who think it's going to end at one jab or
Yeah. No, you're going to be jabbed for life. And I guess that's another thing, though. So, okay, you're fully vaccinated now. You download your little app. You can go to Gen Eggs restaurants. Woohoo. But, like, what happens if you're behind on receiving your 18th dose? Then what? You're a second-class citizen like the rest of us?
Yeah, what happens if you, after your 5th booster, you just can't take anymore?
You drop dead. Wait.
Or that, yeah.
Sorry, hopefully not controversial.
No, what happens then? Do you stop being allowed into businesses?
Yeah, it's kind of like I wonder if like what's gonna happen is like young people get their like 18th doses, they party it out, and then they're like, I'm tired, I don't need my jabs anymore, I don't need to go to Gen Eggs bars. Like, you know, it's like they just use it as like a party thing, and then they're done anyway.
Yeah.
But okay, so Doug Ford, Flip Flop Ford, has completely screwed his voter base. Completely screwed us. And I do think this speaks to a bigger thing as well, because Aaron O'Toole I think he had previously mentioned that he also wasn't going to be pushing for vaccine passports, and now he's okay with it, or he's kind of silent on the topic.
Doug Ford.
No, Aaron O'Toole.
Oh, Aaron O'Toole.
Yeah, Aaron O'Toole has not. He's kind of like just lurking in the shadows. He's not one or the other. What does that mean?
No,
What
he has said. He says that he will require everyone in the party to be double vaccinated.
Yeah.
And he also said that he is going to help implement the vaccine passport. This is what I read today or yesterday.
Yeah. Okay, that's what I thought too.
Yeah.
It's interesting because people are still coming at me talking about how they want to vote strategically this election, and I'm like, you're literally voting for Trudeau light.
Yeah. They say anyone but Trudeau. So that's why they're voting conservative.
Yeah.
Because they feel like that's the only way to get Trudeau out. But your argument doesn't work. It doesn't work anymore because...
No, it doesn't work at all. And
he's on board with the passports.
He's a liberal.
Yeah, he is.
And I would just like to say to those of you considering voting conservative, I mean, at the end of the day, it's your vote. But the biggest argument I hear is, if I vote for Maxime Bernier, I'm splitting the conservative vote. But if you're voting NDP, you're technically splitting the liberal vote, and Justin Trudeau still manages to secure a minority government. So that argument doesn't make sense. It's not taking away votes from anyone.
No, it's not.
So please vote for your values, because vaccine passports are like, that is the only person against them is Maxime Bernier.
Yeah, the only federal party that is against it.
Yeah.
And we're seeing a huge... should we get into how it's affecting the elections this time?
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Yeah, just apologies for my dog over there. I had to bring him. But yes, so when it comes to the elections, it's been... some of the candidates have actually said that they're not able to participate in their local debates.
Yep.
Because some of the venues are requiring double vaccines to get into the building.
Yeah.
And also, Maxime is not allowed to... He's not allowed to... Well, he is allowed, but he'd have to quarantine if he wants to campaign in some of the eastern provinces.
Right.
He'd have to quarantine for 2 weeks, which makes it pointless because the election... Like, he doesn't have the time to quarantine. Yes. But for anyone who is interested in... Because he's not going to be able to participate in the federal leaders debate, the big shebang one.
Yeah.
So if anyone doesn't know... By now, Maxime will be live tweeting during the actual debate. So go to his Twitter. If you don't have Twitter, sign up for Twitter.
Yeah. Follow him.
And he's going to be answering all the questions as they are asked.
That is a really good idea, Maxime Bernier. If you're watching, I know
short
you are.
answers. He's going to tweet quick, short answers. And the next day, he'll have... He'll be with Viva Frei. Mm-hmm. They'll be together and talking about
the
debates.
Yeah.
No, the leaders debate.
That's great. And you know what? I bet his tweets will get a bigger audience than CBC will that night.
Oh, for sure.
So everyone, check it out. That's really fun.
Yeah.
Really interesting. And I think also it's important to talk about, just on the note of like conservatives, Aaron O'Toole has also fired several candidates for either being outspoken against vaccine passports or for not being vaccinated. So
yeah, we've lost count of how many, but I know we mentioned it in a previous episode. Yeah. There's at least 2 MPs who were sacked.
Yeah.
And MPPs who were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Conservative Party isn't conservative. I just feel like Doug Ford's actions this whole pandemic have really proven that. But his implementation of the vaccine passports is just proof. If that's not enough proof for you that the Conservatives are not conservative anymore, there is no hope for you. Mm-hmm. There is no hope for you.
Yeah. If you want this thing to end, you know who to vote for.
Chris Sky. Wait. Just kidding. He's not running.
That died
Oh yeah, I
quick
thought he
death.
was running, but I guess not. Anyway, no, I mean Maxime Bernier. So, also, we should talk about more of like this, like the societal implications of this, because, okay, so businesses now have to, they're requiring proof of vaccination for you to enter their business, but what's fascinating to me is the same people who are pushing for vaccine passports are the same people who wanted these businesses locked down the last 2 years. So why are you catering to these people who didn't give a crap whether you survived the pandemic or not as a business?
Right.
Like, it's cuckoo, like businesses. Now is your time. Now is your time to really just stand up and fight, because if all of the businesses just stood together in unity and opened or didn't require proof of vaccination and just didn't play the government's game, this would be over.
Yeah. Speaking of the businesses, like we can tell quick stories, or I know we have before, stories about how the feeling, it's changed.
Yeah.
We know which businesses are going to require them.
Yeah. Gen Egg. Wait.
Yes. No, I mean, I went to just a quick story. Like, I went out last night with the dude.
Yeah.
And we went bar hopping downtown, not
Fun.
in Kensington. Kensington's actually really good about, I don't think they will require vaccine passports, but.
Just Grey Gardens. Owned by Gen Egg.
No, but the Rex, for example, Jazz Blues Bar.
Yeah.
They've been open, and their patio is open.
Yeah.
And they have a band behind the plexiglass.
Okay.
And it looks very depressing.
Yeah.
We peeked in the window. There was almost nobody there. It was a Saturday afternoon. Mm-hmm. And that's what it was. And no one on the patio even.
Right.
And we tried to see if we could get in, and they wouldn't. If we didn't sign in and wear a mask and everything. So it's like,
they don't even want your business.
they don't want the business. They're not actually going to survive.
Yeah.
Because this is how they're treating their patrons, their potential patrons.
No, that's a really good point. And one of the things my husband and I talk about all the time, like why we weren't really outraged even by this announcement about vaccine passports, is that service is just like the restaurant experience has been ruined by COVID.
Yeah.
Like, you're right, the masking, the signing in, the servers are like frazzled and they have to wear a mask. Like, there's no joy in the experience anymore.
And I think a lot of the servers are actually, there's a lot of turnover.
Yeah.
And a lot of the old servers are at home collecting Serb or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So I see so much turnover, even at like a local coffee shop or something. It's always new people. And if you're not really, if your turnover is a new server every
Day.
2 weeks,
Yeah.
you're not getting good service either.
Yeah. No, for sure. Because everyone's just like training all day long.
Yeah, which is another reason why people will stop frequenting these businesses.
No, that's a really good point. And I think just the biggest thing that we as unjabbed or even jabbed citizens need to do in this time is not support any business that enforces the vaccine passport.
Yeah.
Because we have been like on the front lines fighting against COVID lockdowns and trying to support small businesses for like however long this has been, almost 2 years.
Yeah.
We have been the ones, the anti-maskers, the anti-vaxxers, and these businesses are now pandering to people who don't give a crap about them. And it's just such a slap in the face to those of us who actually have been fighting this
Yeah.
for them.
Yeah.
Like, we don't own a small business.
Yeah.
I don't care. But I don't want you to close Grey Gardens. Just kidding.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind if that one.
But there is actually this, I want to mention, and I can't think of the name right now. I can't find it in the notes, but we'll link it in the
Description, yeah.
Yeah, there's a Facebook page. There's multiple Facebook pages, but
Yeah.
there's one, and it just started maybe a couple weeks ago, and it's already over 100,000 members.
Yeah.
It was 44,000 last time I checked or something, but now there's so many.
Yeah,
And-
Ontario Businesses Against the Health Pass.
Yeah, that's one.
Yeah.
And they're even being like shadow banned or censored or whatever. But
Of course.
And people in Ontario basically saying that their business or their place of work will not require
Proof.
they won't discriminate.
Yeah.
And there is just so much response to that there's been people, and we'll link this in the comments, who made like spreadsheets or
Yep.
whatever they're called.
Yep.
And an actual website where that lists and groups all these businesses according to location and town and
Yeah.
city and everything. So please, like, these are the businesses that you want to frequent. This is where you want to give your money.
Yeah, there's definitely hope in that regard. But I also would just like to say, if you're someone who's vaccinated, like, Godspeed, number one. But number two, I really hope if you're a conservative or I identify with like the conservative ideology and just respect and value freedom in general, that you not go and play this game either. Like, don't go to restaurants. Stay home with the rest of us.
Yeah, I'm
know?
reading a lot of that.
That's
people
good.
who did choose to get vaccinated, and we are pro-choice, right? If
Yeah.
that's what you wanted, if you wanted to get jabbed, then whatever.
Yeah, Godspeed.
But no, these people at the same time, that doesn't mean they want the two-tiered society.
Absolutely.
They don't agree with the passports.
No, for sure. Not everyone's the Toronto Star.
Even though there are people who actually do feel like they should have.
Yeah, like they're a higher tier in society than us. Yeah, well, I would like to just talk about the Toronto Star quickly.
Yeah.
The front page, August 26th. This is the front page of the mainstream news in Toronto, okay? If an unvaccinated person catches it from someone vaccinated, boo-hoo, too bad. I have no empathy left for the willfully unvaccinated. Let them die.
Yeah, I remember that. That's so disturbing that they had that on their front cover.
They're getting sloppy though. That's why, okay, we will talk about this a bit more, but I feel really hopeful because the government is very blatant and outspoken about all this stuff. They're getting a little cocky. Like, that front page is cocky.
Is it cocky? It is cocky. Is it sloppy? Yes, but it's also, they just got an injection of federal funds.
Yeah.
During.
That's a good point as well. Yeah. We know PM True Daddy loves to spread our taxpayer dollars into the MSM. So
Yeah, they keep getting these big bailouts.
for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. But I just think, how arrogant do you have to be to write this?
Yeah.
Like, how arrogant?
Yeah.
It's just very weird to me. And it's like, normal, sane, respectable human beings, jabbed or unjabbed, would hopefully read that and be like, that's like literally evil.
Yeah, it's very chilling just to see those words.
Yeah, it's chilling. But I would like to talk now a bit about why we really shouldn't care too much about this. Like, why there's hope and we're not screwed per se,
Yeah.
even though we are second-class citizens.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's important to address.
Well, I'm hopeful
Me too.
based on a lot of the public reaction.
Yeah.
And also seeing the PPC candidates and Maxime Bernier, seeing the pictures and the videos and the protests around the world of people not complying and
Yeah.
not on board with that. That gives me a lot of hope.
Yeah. No, definitely. And I think too, like, this is very spiritual. It's spiritual warfare and emotional warfare. And I think, like, it's just so important right now, if you, like, identify with the Christian faith, just to remember that, like, God is in control. Like, there's only so much fighting we can do. Mm-hmm. We've done quite a bit. I know so many of our listeners have been active freedom fighters as well. But at the end of the day, all you can do is what you do.
Yeah.
Like, it's beyond, this whole vaccine passport thing is really beyond our control to an extent.
Yeah.
And we need not dwell on it for too long, you know?
Pastor Tim Stevens from Fairview Baptist Church in Alberta, you might have seen him in the videos where he had to go to prison for keeping his church open. He had a good quote in his latest newsletter or something. He said, "It's righteous to not comply with unrighteous laws."
Yeah.
And that
Amen.
really stuck with me. So,
No, that's a very good point. And I think like it's just one of those things where I really think, and sorry to those of you who aren't Christian and who are listening to this, but maybe you can learn something from this as well. But I really think this is just such a like a shake up spiritually. Like I really think that God is like trying to shake up the church to like just stand up and fight, you know, like because Christians historically are fighters. I mean, look at Afghanistan right now.
Yeah.
Like the attack on Christians there is just like, it's insane. And these people are literally willing to die for their faith. Like,
yeah.
you know, and here we are sitting at home. You know, it's funny because we talked about this earlier, but when I was in BC, a lot of my friends were like, I didn't know how bad it was in Ontario. And then it's like, well, joke's on you, BC, because your vaccine passport's worse than ours. Like, there is no safe space in Canada. So it's just really, it's just time for us to just stand up and fight for what's true and right and pure and lovely, you know? I feel like so many people are still kind of apathetic and apolitical, and it's like, this is your last chance to fight for a better future.
Yeah, it actually is.
This is literally it.
Yeah.
Like we already did an episode recently on communism. Like check it out, YouTube, anywhere else you stream your podcast. But like this vaccine passport is communism.
Yeah.
Like this is a social credit system, and we need to fight it. So do that, do that. And I wrote something that kind of sums a lot of this up. I'm just gonna read it. I'm just kind of reiterating some of the things we've already said, but so this is not just a spiritual war. This is an emotional one. To anyone who doesn't want to engage in this war, I'm sorry, but you don't have a choice anymore. You were born for such a time as this to fight. There's no room in society for people to be apolitical and apathetic. This is black and white, good versus evil. People can no longer sit back while the rest of us speak out and stand up. We must fight for our freedoms, which are fleeting. We must fight for a better future. This is your final call to action. So,
that's good.
Thanks. I'm running for prime minister. just anyway, so don't live in fear. If you're being threatened, to lose your job or whatever, if you don't get vaccinated, like have a little faith in God. Have faith in your community. People will stand up for you. People will support you financially or whatever. Like to any of my friends who lose their job for not getting jabbed, you can come move in for free. Like,
wait, you still have friends?
We'll see after this. But
I lost all mine.
Yeah, well, there's that too. But you're not alone though. There are so many Canadians. I'd argue millions of Canadians who are willing to fight this out with you. So please stand true to your values, hold firm, you've made it this far, don't cave now,
Yeah.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.